People are spending a lot more time using mobile devices to access the internet and consuming 2 times the amount of content on mobile than they do on desktop. In fact, there are a few ways to create a mobile presence that will let users easily access your content on mobile. Hi, I'm Jamarco, and today we're going to talk about the differences between mobile apps versus progressive web apps and which is the best option for you. Let's start with progressive web apps. The progressive web app takes an approach that is midway between mobile websites and mobile apps. They are built with JavaScript frameworks and designed to work like native apps, offering an app-like experience to engage your users. However, they're still just a website when open. Now let's dive in and take a look at the key differences between progressive web apps and mobile apps. Now, number 1 is installation. Native applications are found and installed through an app store, while progressive web apps run right within the mobile device's browser. Your users can save a progressive web app to their home screen, and they'll find it there just as they do with a native app. The only obstacle that your users might run into is knowing how to add that app to their home screen. You don't control how Google shows an installation prompt to your user, and it's based on how frequently they access your site. On iOS, it's even trickier. The user needs to click on Share and then find the Add to Home Screen option. Now, number 2 is cross-platform availability. Since developers usually design an app specifically for iOS or Android users, this ensures that the experience within a native app is tailor-made for each platform. Progressive web apps are developed to operate in a user's browser. Sure, you have more control over the exact look of your app when you are creating a pure mobile app, but progressive web app comes without the headache of making a different version for each platform, iOS and Android, at the cost of providing a somewhat less typical user interface for mobile users. And you can still design it with a framework that allows you to mimic the typical design of iOS and Android apps. Now, number 3 is push notifications. Push notifications are one of the key reasons that site owners and businesses are building a mobile app. They can attract significantly more engagement than traditional methods such as email. Notification support on progressive web apps is still limited to Chrome, Firefox, and Opera, and it's still not available on iOS. That means you can start using push notifications to engage your audience with progressive web apps on Android, but if you want to do the same with your iOS visitors, then you're going to have to build a fully native mobile app. Now, number 4 is offline usage. One of the great things that comes with a mobile app is allowing your users to access the app information when they're not connected to the internet. In recent years, some of the offline features have been coming to progressive web apps, allowing parts of the app to still work offline using cached data. Number 5 is updates. When it comes to the user's point of view regarding updates, there's really nothing the user needs to do when it comes to updating native apps. Sometimes a native app needs to be manually updated, but for the most part, it is an automated process that goes relatively undetected. With the progressive web app, the app will load any new code each time it's open, so there's nothing to update. Now, number 6 is discovery. For native apps, there are 2 chances for them to show up in search results: within the App Store and in search engines. The App Store could be a big help in driving traffic to your new app, especially if you have a brand. Chances are that people are already searching for your app in stores today. Now, progressive web apps, on the other hand, could do well in terms of web search, but you don't get the discovery help that the App Store provides. Like any website, you're relying on people finding your app using Google, search engines, or visiting your website's address manually. Number 7 is device features. One of the best things about building an app for placement on a user's mobile device is the ability to sync with other device apps and telephone features. For example, native apps can use the camera, GPS, accelerometer, etc. Progressive web apps in their most basic form can be held to the same kinds of restrictions as standard websites, which means you don't have all the access to device features as you would with mobile apps. Number 8 is cost. A native app is truly native. It's generally built with Java or Kotlin for Android or Objective-C and Swift for iOS. A progressive web app at its core is basically a web app, and a native app will likely end up costing you more than a progressive web app to make, and it could take longer to build depending on which route you take. If you run a content site on WordPress, then building a native app with a service like Mobiloud will give you the same results of a custom native app build, but at less than 10% of the cost. Your app will be ready to hit the market in weeks rather than months. Ongoing maintenance and support is also included in Mobiloud's service, making it easier and quicker to make a return on your investment. If you want to learn more about Mobiloud, then take a look at the website linked in the description. That's it for today's video. I hope you got some value out of it. And as always, my name is Jamarco, and I will see you next time.